What's up, guys? Welcome to today's episode of the Men Made for More podcast. Stoked to have you with me here today. Stoked to have you listening in and investing in yourself. We're talking about something highly practical and something highly useful today that many clients I work with are missing, and that's a formal review and reflection process for your days, your weeks, your months, your year. And we're going to talk about how that looks, some examples for it, and how you can improve your focus, improve your productivity, and improve the results you're getting with this review and reflection process, or this rhythm that I like to call it. And most men are falling way short of their potential by failing to implement this review and reflection process. And those that are performing at a high level in all areas of their life are asking the tough questions every single day, every single week, and they're reviewing their progress regularly. Think of someone in your life who's maybe seems to be performing at a different level, like a whole notch up above where you're at. I have these people in my life. I think we all should have people that stretch us to grow in that way, that challenge us, and these people that are really just crushing it, not just in one area, but they seem to be doing everything with the high degree of intentionality and purpose. Those people are, whether it's a conscious process or a subconscious process, they're continuing to reflect, review, adjust their plan. And I know for some it might be subconscious, but all the people I talk to, there's a formal process in place for this of how they go about reviewing and reflecting and adjusting their plan. I know I should say that in order to live a meaningful life, you have to be continuing to strive for better, to do better, to demand more in terms of your results and how you're showing up as a person across all these areas of your life. And you want to know one of the best ways to do this? It's through some self-accountability. And self-accountability can often happen through this regular review process, this reflection. And I want to talk today about how you can even start to implement that and why it's so important, because it's not good enough to just perform well in one area. If you're crushing it financially, but your health is a mess and your relationships are falling apart, that's not success to me, guys. And same thing if you have meaningful relationships, but you're broke and you have stress over paying the bills, like, guys, that's a problem too. And there's always going to be one area or multiple areas that we're struggling a little more with. But if we can review on this, if we can identify what those areas are and identify a plan to take action towards improving them, guys, we can start to see more fulfillment across all those areas of your life. And if you've ever felt overwhelmed with too much on your plate, or maybe unable to balance work, life, and all these other demands, or unsure if you're even heading in the right direction, this is a common one for a lot of guys that I talk to when I start coaching with them. Is they're like, I'm doing a lot. I'm like trying a lot. I'm listening to these podcasts. I'm reading these books. I'm taking action, but Dave, I don't know if I'm going the right way. Like, I don't know where I'm heading, or if these steps are actually leading me closer to that. And guys, this is something that one of the first places that I start with them is, hey, we gotta first identify that, that vision, and break down that goal setting process that we talk about of, okay, what is that? What's that big vision? How are we going to break that into small goals, meaningful action steps? I've done that in a past podcast here a couple of weeks ago, if you guys want to check that one out. But once we have that in place, it's important to implement these review processes to know, because we're going to start to take action at some point in our life, in an area of our life, and we're not going to always know if it's the best thing, but we have to be reviewing and reflecting on what's working. And this has, a few powerful things. One, this offers accountability. How do you know if you're staying true to what you're supposed to be doing if you're not reviewing it? You can't take a test in school and then just never look at the results, never look at what you did wrong and expect to get anything more out of it. It sucks to face the reality and to have to look at those things that maybe you're not doing as well with as you want to, but that's going to create a new level of accountability for yourself that's going to help you to grow. Another thing is learning. Again, we want to always be learners, we need to be continual learners. We need to be lifelong learners. This has to be something that we're doing through listening to books, through listening to the podcasts like this one, to going to coaching courses, hiring coaches, doing seminars, workshops, doing whatever you can to learn and grow. But this review process is where we get the application. This is where we see, okay, hey, I read that book last week. How am I applying it? What can I do to apply this? What's one thing I can apply from this book? What's one thing I can apply from this podcast? And that's where I started to get into the take action takeaways, just to remind you guys that it's all about action. We can consume, but we have to apply that knowledge to make any meaningful progress. The third thing this does, on top of accountability and learning, is allows you to pivot quickly. And pivoting is a big piece of life. It's a big piece of being able to put your foot in the ground and either plant and keep going full speed ahead in that direction you're already heading, or maybe you need to plant your foot in the ground and slightly change your course a little bit. And what this review process will help you guys to do is see when you need to pivot a little bit, when you need to take a slightly different direction, or if you need to keep pushing full steam ahead. And the reason that's so important is if you don't know that, if you don't stop in your day and your week to reflect a little bit and to process where you've come, where you're going, then you might be pushing full steam ahead towards a direction you don't want to be going. It might be you're crushing it in business and you just have your head down, you're grinding, but your marriage is falling apart, you're drawing distance from your kids, your health's falling apart. That's not a direction we want to be going in. You want to pivot in those cases and be able to say, okay, how I might have to sacrifice a little bit of time towards my business or my work, but these things are important. I have to be doing them. Or it might be a fact of that you're just going and going and going, and you're building a business that isn't really what you love, or you're doing work that isn't really what gets you fired up. All these things are going to be brought to light in some kind of review and reflection process. So that's why it's so important. And I see this all the time. I implemented a formal review process for myself, maybe a year or so at this point, a year or so ago, and it's been extremely impactful for me being able to step back and process of not just putting content out there, not just trying to drive the business forward, not just hoping my relationship with Lindsay is improving, but actually reviewing that, asking myself the tough questions of how did I get better in these areas? What areas am I still struggling in? What direction do I need to change a little bit? Where do I need to pivot to continue to grow? And that accountability for myself has been huge for my success. And I don't just say success from a business standpoint, a results standpoint, a fitness standpoint, but when we talk success across all those areas of my life, all those areas that we have that we need to be focusing on, that's what success means to me. And I have a coaching client I worked with recently who was finding a lot of success in their business, but he was struggling in his relationships. He didn't feel really close to his wife. Has a young daughter that was kind of, wasn't getting the quality time that he wanted, and was just struggling with his health and his work-life balance, and was just working so hard, still in a 9-to-5 job, trying to start up a side hustle to be able to go full time with that. And the balance wasn't good. But we talked about having some kind of process in place like this to be able to say, hey, what do you really want? Like, I know you're building this business for your family and for your family's future, but that won't mean anything if by the time you get there, those relationships are already broken to a point where maybe they can't be restored. And this is a big aha moment for him. It's a big aha moment for a lot of people that I work with when we bring this to light of, yeah, maybe it's not all about this thing that I thought was so important. But guys, I get it. We can get so in the weeds on a goal, on a vision. We get hungry. We want to drive forward. That can be on a health goal, a business goal. If you're anything like me, you just take it and you run with it. And guys, that's great. That's what's going to make you successful. But that's only going to make you successful if you can harness that and apply that to all areas of your life. So I want to talk about the different rhythms that you need to. I can't say you need to. I would strongly recommend. You're going to benefit from applying to these things. You guys don't have to do anything, but if you just listen to this, if you just think that things are going to magically work out on their own, I'm going to let you know it's either not going to happen, or it might take longer than you wanted to, or you might end up in a place that isn't exactly where you were setting out to go. So I want to talk through daily first, our daily review. We have daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly. But for our daily, I like a beginning of the day and end of the day reflection. Now, before we get into any of the specifics for this, some of the specific questions you can ask, this is going to vary in terms of how much time you have. This could be actually writing it down. I've talked in the past, I really think there's power in journaling and getting pen to paper, but this can be something that you recite in your head in the shower. It doesn't even have to take any time. You can just ask yourself these questions to start to give yourself an answer, start to think about those things. This can take a minute. This can take 10 minutes. This doesn't have to be a long, drawn out process, because I know a lot of you guys are busy. You guys have a lot on your plate. but that's no excuse to just skip this stuff. So that being said, at the beginning of the day, you want to look ahead to your day and think about who's the man I want to show up as today. How can I inject intentionality into my day? I know what my schedule is. I have my schedule laid out. Where can I be more intentional in my day? And what am I going to do to progress a meaningful goal or dream that I have? Some of the sample questions I have, and there's no set questions with this. You guys can do whatever fits your life, your circumstance. If you're really struggling with maybe your health, or you're struggling with taking action in your business, maybe that needs to be your question at the beginning of every day is what can I do to be healthier today? If that's something you're struggling with in your health, that's a great question to ask. What can I do to be more healthy today? Maybe that's, oh, I'm gonna walk instead of, take my car to that place. I'm going to, choose the salad over something else. I'm gonna get the burger without the bun. Like there's a dozen ways this can look. I'm gonna work out for 10 minutes or do 100 push-ups over the course of a day. But when you ask these things, your subconscious mind starts to go to work. You start to find ways to implement some of this because it's front of mind. If you never ask these things, you can go through a week, and a lot of you have probably been there, where how many times does a week go by and you kind of reflect back, you're exhausted at the end of the week and you're like, what did I what did I really get done this week? Like, yeah, I did a lot of work. I made some money. Like what meaningful stuff did I get done? And that's what separates those high achievers, those high performers, those people that are successful in all the areas of their life, is they're not leaving this up to chance. They're proactively taking action on this. So at the beginning of the day, you can ask things like the questions I've already mentioned, some other ones. How can I be an unexpected blessing for someone today? Talk about a way to light up your day and light up the day of those around you. Be an unexpected blessing for someone every day. Give someone that pick up the phone and call someone, let them know you're thinking of them. Send them a video text. Get someone's coffee in line. Little things that can go a long way. If you know your schedule and you know what's coming up, find ways to be that unexpected blessing. Another thing, what area of my life am I specifically going to focus on today, and how? That's kind of what I was talking about earlier with how do I be more healthy, or how do I improve my business a little bit today? How do I work on my business or on my side hustle today? Because you might be working a 9 to 5 right now, and you might just have a dream or a vision that you're trying to start up. Every day, if it's important to you, you should be finding some time to do that. That might be, I'm going to reach out to 3 people and, see if they can help me with building a website, with connecting me with potential clients or potential referral sources within my industry. Those are some of the things you got to be asking yourself. Or one I like a lot, what can I do to step outside my comfort zone today? This one will get you far. I've currently finishing up a comfort zone challenge. It's been really awesome for myself and some of the other guys in our community. And this one's great because getting out of our comfort zone is where we grow. That's where the magic happens. And think, if you did something, imagine doing something every single day to get out of your comfort zone just a little bit. It might seem small at first, but the things that are getting you outside of your comfort zone today, a few weeks down the road, are going to be small, insignificant things. And you'll find yourself doing bigger things that maybe one day would have scared you a whole lot more. And that's the power of a question like that. So there's some ideas for the beginning of the day. For the end of the day, simple questions. Where could I have improved? Look back at your day. Think back to the moments. Maybe, for me, maybe I snapped at Lindsay a little too much. My tone was sharp. I didn't love her or treat her the way I want. I could think back to that conversation and be like, okay, what was going on? Okay, I was stressed over some work stuff. What could I have done better? Well, I could have taken a breath before, just saying something. I could have apologized. I could have apologized with more sincerity. Those are some things that you can reflect on in relationships. You can look at, maybe you had a sales call that didn't go well. Where could I have improved in that? What didn't go well? And these are the things that are going to help you to grow. Because when we just put those things out of mind and say, oh, well, it happened. Hopefully I'll do better next time. That just doesn't happen. You got to be intentional with these things. Other good questions. What grateful moments did I have? Guys, gratitude has such a powerful connection to it in terms of our well-being. Focus on the good, reflect on those things, because sometimes we forget the grateful moments, the little things of like, wow, it was really nice to be able to get out during lunchtime and the sun was shining and I was just at a lot of peace at that time. Or yeah, we did something unexpected. We did this activity, or we just took some time to talk with each other. And it was just like a really good conversation that was unexpected. Some of these grateful moments show up in small ways. Sometimes they're big things, but make sure you're taking note of these. A couple other questions you can use. How did I progress a meaningful goal or dream? This ties back with the beginning of the day check-in, because you say, okay, what am I going to do today to push myself to grow in a certain area? And then, at the end of the day, you're going to have to answer to yourself, what did I do to actually move that dream forward? And that little bit of accountability, even though it's with yourself, knowing that that question's coming can help you find ways to do it. I've had days just knowing that I'm asking this question, and this isn't exactly the purpose of this, but in all transparency, there's days where I'm at the end of my workday, I'm about to shut it down, and I go, shoot, I know I have this review process coming up. I'm going to ask myself, what did I do to progress a dream today? I don't feel like I did anything yet. So I'll take one imperfect action. I'll reach out to someone. I'll do something that's gonna push business forward, or push mine and Lindsay's relationship forward, or call someone. Like, these things are little things, but that little bit of accountability, I just don't want to answer myself and say, well, you didn't do anything today. You do that enough times and you get sick of doing it. And we're not going to be perfect, but these are the types of questions that can keep you accountable in those ways. So moving on from daily, again, these are just some guideline questions. I encourage you guys to make your own. As we get into weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly, these are all going to look pretty similar. It's just going to be to the degree and the amount of time that you need to spend on it. So in general, for all these, you want to, if you have your goals written down, you want to review goals. You want to review your big vision, that vision you have, that picture you've hopefully painted, of what your future is going to look like. What's a 10-year goal or vision that you're working towards? What does that look like, smell like, feel like, taste like? All of these things, you want to be able to really feel these things. You want to review that in your weeks, months, quarterly, and yearly reviews. You want to set your future vision and goals. Again, if you haven't done it, make sure you're casting that vision. You're updating any of your goals for the week, saying, hey, what are the 3 to 5 things I'm going to get done this week? Those 3 to 5 things that are going to push my vision forward. Issues and strategies is a great thing to address at all of these things. What things are coming up that's getting in the way of my progress? What barriers do I have that aren't letting me get in the shape I want to be? Why I keep overeating? Why do I keep overeating? Well, I'm keeping foods that I know I overeat around, and maybe I should just get rid of those things. And those are the types of things you're going to just start to have this dialogue with yourself. A lot of times you guys know the answer. I help coach people through these types of things, but sometimes it's not, most of the time it's not me actually coaching. It's me just listening and talking them through it. And they come to the realization of like, oh yeah, I probably don't need to do that. And I could probably do more of this. And it's like, yep, that's exactly what we're going to do. And guys, there's a lot of power in that. So those are some of the things for the weekly. Again, monthly, quarterly, and yearly are going to look the same, except for month, you want to spend a little more time. Quarterly, you want to block. We do this at least for our business and personal life. We take a 4-hour chunk every quarter, Lindsay and I, to sit down and do this. And yearly, we take a full weekend, a full couple days to get away and really reflect on these things. We're asking ourselves the same question. We look at our different businesses of what goals we have. We look at personally what we want to be doing, what things we want to be doing as a couple and as a family, what other relationships we want to invest in, what other ways we want to give back, what other just life things do we have going on. And guys, this is something that doesn't take a ton of time. It does take energy. It does take asking the tough questions. It does take facing the mirror and confronting that. But time-wise, this doesn't have to take a lot of time. Daily, this is 5 minutes at the beginning of the day, 5 minutes at the end of the day. Weekly, maybe you spend 30 minutes doing this. Monthly, you take an hour. Quarterly, you take 4 hours. Yearly, you take a couple days. Guys, on the scheme of a year, that's not a lot of time, but this creates laser focus for yourself. I've seen this with so many clients. I've seen this in our businesses and in our marriage, in our family. This is powerful stuff, guys. So I encourage you to take action on this. There's a lot of layers underneath this. I tried doing my best to compile this into a podcast episode, but guys, this is something with the clients I work with, there's a lot of fine tuning with this. This is by no means a perfect one size fits all approach, being completely honest with you guys, but I just want this to start to create some some thought of how can you do this? What are some ways you can apply some of these things? And know it's not going to be perfect. You're going to try something and you'll say, "Hey, that works. That's helping me." Or like, I'm not really feeling these questions or feeling this process. That doesn't mean the whole thing doesn't work. That just means you have to find a different way to do it. So, guys, if you need help, please reach out. My number's there in the show notes. I respond to all the texts I get related to the podcast. If you guys have specific questions, reach out. We can text through. We can jump on a call if we need to help talk you guys through this, because I know this is a loaded topic, but guys, this changed my life. This changes so many of my clients' lives, and I know it will change your life too if you can implement it. So there's a couple things I want from you guys. Take action takeaway number 1. Go download the Made for More planner. There's a link in the show notes. It's free for you guys. It's a PDF planner that you guys can print out, and you guys, or take the template of it and write it out in your notebook if you prefer that. But this has some of those reflection questions on there. This has these I am statements we talk about, of your vision of what kind of life you want to be living, of how you're doing across those different pillars or foundations of your life. And this has that monthly, quarterly, yearly breakdown. So guys, that's the first take action takeaway. Go download that. And second, if you guys have questions, please reach out. DM me on Instagram at Dr. Dave Pack. Text me. My number's there in the show notes. Said I love interacting with you guys on the podcast. I thank you for those that do reach out, because I love hearing that you're listening. I love hearing how you're growing, how you're working through things. So do not hesitate to reach out. I can't guarantee I'll get back to you right away. Sometimes there's a lot of text to get back to, and it takes me a couple days to get back to those, but I promise I will reply personally to that, and I will help you guys out in whatever way I can. So there's your 2 take action takeaways. If you guys do have questions, please reach out. But thanks for investing in yourself. Thanks for taking the time to grow, because guys, there's big things ahead for you. I know that. I believe it. And I can't wait to hear the success stories as they come in. So if you guys need anything, you know where to find me, and enjoy the day, guys. Go crush it. I'll talk to you all soon.